5 years ago, I started building my personal brand, but then I quit after 2 weeks. And this year, I'm going all in. You might ask, what's changed? It's not motivation because I was motivated back then as well. It's not even discipline because I was disciplined back then. I was trying my hardest. It's actually something that a lot of people overlook. And in today's episode, I want to unpack this with you. Let me be real with you. The first attempt 5 years ago was brutal. At the time, I was doing a lot of music. I was playing a whole lot more music, and I wanted to sort of build my personal brand around that. So I was going to just upload a bunch of covers on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, and I was just hoping that, you know what, it would fly off and it would be to the moon, right? Like they say. Well, that's not what happened because yes, I took the action of posting and I was posting consistently, but there was no real strategy. There was no real know-how behind what I was doing. So in today's discussion, in this video, I want to unpack what that one thing that was missing is. And I know it's really going to be helpful. But let's start from here. A lot of people feel the need to focus only on action because it helps them feel that, you know what, I'm finally doing something. I'm finally doing something about the goal that I have. I'm finally doing something about the thing that I said I was going to achieve. And that's great. It's a great starting point. But action alone is never enough. And this is why a lot of motivational talk focuses on just take action and, take that first step. And it's good because that's where some people are. But the further along you go in your journey, you're going to start to realize that, okay, it can't just be action. The results that you desire, the results that you're looking for are not just going to be based on your actions. Like in my example, for instance, I was posting at different times. I was recording in different formats. I was putting weird filters and stuff on my videos. I was just trying whatever I wanted to just because I was like, you know what? Whatever I put out in the world, it's going to work. Well, newsflash, that's not how this works. Eventually, I started to see that, okay, this is not going as well as I thought, right? Crazy. I heard someone say this, that taking action without knowledge is like driving on the road with your eyes closed. Can you picture that for a moment? You're driving, you're on the road, you feel the wind in your hair, if you have hair, right? You feel the wind in your face, and you're driving and your eyes are closed. Can you picture what that feels like? Can you imagine what that feels like? All of a sudden you're scared, you're afraid. You're like, I'm gonna crash. Most people will, you're gonna either end up in a scenario where you crash or you pull over intentionally. And in life, a lot of us actually pull over because we don't want to crash. So what does that mean? In my case, I pulled over. In my case, I said, you know what, 2 weeks in, I'm not doing this anymore. This feels like this feels like I'm driving blind. And that's exactly what action without knowledge is. It's dangerous. And this sort of brings me to the next point, the fact that a lot of people overemphasize action. And like I said earlier on, it's because people get stuck in this analysis of things and this overthinking, and action, getting them to take that first step is usually the best way to break out of that cycle, right? But I feel like we've overdone and overemphasized action and underemphasized the importance of knowledge. So most people fall into two camps of people, right? Two categories of people. There's the eternal researcher, right? This first person, is reading every book. This person is taking every course. This person is, perfecting their plan. They have all the I's dotted, all the T's crossed. They will never launch anything unless it feels 100% ready, which is never the case. So they never launch anything, and they focus solely on preparation and don't take any action. That's camp one. That's the first category. The second category is the reckless doer. This person has no sort of regard for trying to learn or trying to understand strategy. They just say, you know what, I'm just going to do it. However I do it, it doesn't matter as long as I do it. They learn nothing along the way. They don't improve. They're just focused on output. I just keep doing it. I don't need to improve. I don't need to, it's very, very just sort of, yes, output driven. The issue here is This person fails eventually, and they never learn why they fail. Now, now my encouragement to you is that you actually find a way to be in the middle of both of these categories of people, in the sense that you find a way to balance action and knowledge. I was thinking about this the other day. There is absolutely no way you can stay consistent in something you refuse to learn about. That action that you take, that first action, that beginner action can get you started. It can legit get you off the ground. It can get you moving. But if you're going to stay moving, if you're going to stay grounded, if you're going to stay consistent, you're going to need knowledge as well. Because if you rely solely on action, there's going to come a time when you're going to realize that, okay, I don't exactly know what I'm doing. And I'm not getting the results that I hope for. And then what happens is you either have the option to quit at that point, or you have the option to go learn more about the thing that you're doing and learn the strategy behind it and learn how it works. This is the balance that knowledge brings. So in my example, 5 years ago, like I said, I just wanted to post. Now, in the last couple of months, what I've done is I've done deep dives on strategy in terms of posting content, storytelling, hooks and frameworks, and all these different things that help sort of build the content. This action and knowledge thing kind of feels like that there's that illustration of an iceberg where the visible part of the iceberg might not seem huge, right? But the part of the iceberg that's below the surface of the water, below the sort of sea level, is massive. But because you don't see it, you think that, oh, you know what? It's just a little iceberg, right? So this is how we look at people who are doing well in society, who are succeeding in whatever they're doing, who are experts in their field. You kind of look at it like, yeah, the guy just posted a couple of videos. He just released a couple of books and dropped a couple of songs, and yes, now he's successful. What you don't realize is that beneath those actions is years of knowledge, is hours of studying to understand exactly how things work. That's actually what makes the difference. So I want to leave you with 3 reasons why knowledge changes everything. The first reason is this: your actions become strategic and not random. The moment you introduce knowledge into the equation, you move from I'm just randomly doing things to I'm becoming strategic, because now your actions are informed. Now you understand exactly why you are doing what you're doing and the way you're doing it. Now there is a basis for the things that you're doing. The second thing to point out here is that knowledge also helps you to troubleshoot. So if you take an informed action, if it doesn't work, because you have the knowledge and you sort of have the expectation of what was supposed to be the result, you can now troubleshoot and say, and go back and look and say, you know what, this was supposed to work this way. Why didn't it? You can review your process. You can review your results and say, you know what, okay, this is where something broke here. This didn't work here. But if you don't have knowledge, you can't do that. The third thing that happens when you combine action with knowledge is you stay more consistent. We all know consistency is the thing on this channel. Consistency is sort of the thing that we know is going to unlock a lot of the things that we're believing for in life and working towards. But if you don't have knowledge, I dare say you can't be consistent, because there's going to come a time when your emotions are going to be impacted because you're not seeing results, or like things happen. And if you don't have the knowledge to understand that, hey, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or maybe I need to change what I'm doing, eventually you quit. So consistency becomes a lot easier when you understand how things work. You move from, oh, I'm just, you know how they say, spraying and praying? You move from just blind faith into informed action. And that's exactly where you want to be for long-term success. I'm reminded of, I think it's an Abraham Lincoln quote where he says something along the lines of, give me 6 hours to cut down a tree, right? To chop down a tree. And I will spend the first 4 sharpening my axe. This embodies exactly what I'm trying to communicate to you, where it's like, yes, you're going to take action. And yes, I beg you, take action. Don't just sit down and be learning, quote unquote, for months and months on end. No, take action. But what I'm also saying is, as you take action, also learn about what it is that you're doing. Also learn about the thing that you're doing, how it's done, how other people are doing it. And this brings me to a really important point where I feel like a lot of people struggle to unlearn, because they feel that, what, if I go and learn about this, I have to unlearn everything that I've thought about it. I have to unlearn how I felt about it. And you have to. There's no way around it. Because guess what? Knowledge gets updated. The algorithms, for instance, if you're in the world of social media, the world of creating content, the algorithms when Facebook just launched is not what it is now. Actually, in the last 2, 3 years, things have dramatically changed with the introduction of AI into everything that we're doing. So that being said, knowledge gets updated and knowledge gets outdated. If you're still operating on yesterday's knowledge and maybe you might have even experienced success in the past, but now things are not working the way you expected them to, it might be time for you to unlearn and relearn. Learn the old, relearn the new. It might be time for you to update your knowledge based on whatever it is that you're doing. And this is one of the things that fascinates me about a lot of people who are experts in their industry. Is the fact that they seem to have their hands on the pulse of things. They seem to just understand that, you know what, this is going on in my industry. And yes, this was just released in my industry. If you're going to find anyone who's an expert, they know what's going on. They are committed to lifelong learning. And that goes for each and every one of us as well. As much as we're trying to build whatever it is that we're building, companies and businesses and families and all these things, please take the time to learn about what you're doing. Take the time to understand why things work. Take the time to understand how the last 10 years has played out and what the next 10 years is going to look like in your industry, in whatever it is that you're doing. You can't rely on past knowledge. Knowledge gets outdated all the time. And this is the crazy part. Nobody is going to force knowledge down your throat. You have to be the one to go seek out knowledge. You have to be the one to say, you know what, I am intentional about continuously improving myself and continuously learning while I am taking action, right? So this is not something that you're going to stop taking action and you're learning. No, you're going to combine your learning with the action that you're taking. So I've said a lot, but to wrap it all up, it's this. Action starts your journey. Knowledge keeps you on the road. This year, I want you to commit to both. Taking action, yes, because you know what? You don't have forever. Time is not, you don't have infinite time to just sit around and eventually get to the things that you said you would do and procrastinate forever. No, you can't. So yes, you need to take action. But the actions that you need to take should be informed, which is where knowledge comes in. This year, I want you to commit to both. Not just action, not just knowledge. Commit to action and knowledge. Informed action this year. It's really going to change your life. It's really going to impact the way you do all that you do. So this is my challenge to you for the week. What is one thing that you're learning? What is one thing that you are building? What is one thing that you're currently taking action on? And how can you find the knowledge to make sure that your actions in that thing are informed? Let me know in the comments. I actually would love to hear from you. Till next time,